Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My brother is with us today. He's going to be showing us what we need to do to our car today.
Hey guys, so we're working on a 2006 Chevy Equinox. Today we're going to be changing the Serpentine belt just because it's kind of old and worn out, as well as the idler and tensioner pulleys. Let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this airbox. We've got a mass airflow sensor connector here. We've got a band clamp with a 5/16 inch socket there, and then we're going to have a 10mm bolt, which we'll show you guys in here in a second. First I'm going to pull this plug. There's a little tab. You can't really see it very well, so I'm going to pull it off first, and then I'll show you real quick how it works. So we got this sensor right here. If you want to take a quick look, it's got this plastic guard on the back. So when it's in, it's going to be pushed in and in like that. You're going to, sometimes you got to use a flathead screwdriver, but you're going to want to pull out. I actually did it from the underside here. You can just pull out like that. Then you're going to push in the black area and pull out. So that's the plug right there. So we're just going to set that right offside real quick here. Next thing we're going to do is move this band clamp here. Again, that's 5/16 inch socket. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen that up here. All right. And then last thing we've got on the back side back here, we've got a 10mm bolt, if you can see that there. We're going to go ahead and pull that out. Set that on the side. And then this box should pull out. So we're going to pull the boot off first, up and over. There's a hose on the back side here. So we're going to pull that straight out, right like that. Again, push it off to the side. And you're going to pull up and then push back on the box. And it should come right up and out like that. Hey guys, so really quick tip. Whenever you take your bolts or nuts out when you're doing stuff like this, an easy way to not lose track of where they go or what bolts which spot is you just take them and put them back in the spots, just finger tight, or just a few turns, so that way they're sitting in your spot and ready to go when you go put things back together. All right, next we're going to go ahead and remove the Serpentine belt. I have a tool here that I'm going to use for it. This particular vehicle is pretty easy to take the belt off, so I'll show you what I'm going to do real quick. But if you look down in here, we've got the tensioner pulley, down in here with the socket point there. You can see how close that is to the wall, so that's where this comes in handy because of how thin it is. It's got a 3/8 top on it here, or socket, I'm sorry. And so we're going to stick that in there. We're going to take the tension off the belt and then take the belt off the pulley. We're going to stick it right down like this. You can use a 3/8 wrench, but sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get it between the body there. But I'm going to go ahead and start removing this here like that. And then, like I said, this vehicle is a little easier, so I'm actually just going to pull up real quick to take the tension off it. And there we go, like that. Just watch your hands when you're popping it off. So there we go. All right, next you're going to take a floor jack or some sort of jack that you can get underneath the engine with a block of wood on the top of it like this. We're going to slide it right underneath like so. Right up underneath the oil pan right there. We're going to go ahead and jack it up till it hits the bottom of the oil pan. And then we're going to go just a little bit further just to relieve the pressure off of the engine mount so we can remove that up top. All right, now we're going to go ahead and remove this engine mount. If you guys can see here, the belt goes underneath the mount, so we're going to go ahead and pull that mount out so we can get the belt up around on the front. For that, you're going to need a 15mm socket as well as an 18mm socket, and I'll show you quick how we're going to do that here. So first we'll take the 15mm. We've got 3 bolts on the top here. We're going to go ahead and remove those 3 bolts. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and take our 18mm socket. We'll switch that around here. And this one here, and then there's one up on the top here. And remove those. All right. And we're going to go ahead and pull our nuts off. And then you should be able to grab this whole mount if they're loose here. And right up and out, and then you can pull the belt right out. Easy enough. All right, so let's go ahead and just compare our new parts real quick. We have the tensioner pulley in this box right here, and just pull it out. We just want to make sure everything looks the same, matches up, everything's identical. just so we don't have an issue there. This particular tensioner pulley comes with a new bolt. If you do not get a new bolt, you might want to consider buying one, just because they do stretch out sometimes, and you want to make sure that doesn't break on you. So we have a new one for that. So that's the tensioner. And then our idler pulley here, we have different washers and such here. We're just going to use the same thing that was used on this particular vehicle, which I think uses everything here. So with the washer on the front, just right here, the different washers like this, and then there's a spacer that goes on the rear. This one's a little different style, but it does the same thing here. So just make sure everything matches, and then again, new bolt. Now we're going to go ahead and put everything back together, guys. So I've got my tensioner pulley all ready to go with my bolt installed here. We're going to stick it right in. You see this little pin here down on the surface. It's hard to see around the pulley, but up in the block here, there's going to be a spot where that's going to fit right in to make sure this is in the correct position, so when you tension it, it's in the right place. So just make sure when you're lining all that up, you get it right in that spot there, right like so. And then I'll just get it started with my fingers and all the way down there. This bolt, as well as the idler, once we get ready to put it in here, both of them are going to be 37 foot-pounds. So I do recommend using the torque specs. Some guys won't, they'll just do good and tight, but I prefer to actually do torque specs because I just think it's better all around. So this is the 16 millimeter bolt. I already have my torque wrench set for 37 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and get it on here. Oop, make sure you're going the right direction. There we go. So that's the tensioner pulley. Now we're going to grab our idler pulley, and just in case you guys wanted to, or if you get the same setup, just so you see how this goes together real quick, it all is going to come together like this. You're going to put the metal washer on with a bolt through it, slide that through the pulley, then the black washer, make sure the bevel's in, so that way. And then you're going to take this one with the smaller side in as well. Make sure it fits through everything. It should slide right in there for you like that. Everything should go together just like that. You're going to stick it right in there. Same thing, get it started with our fingers. Should have the wrench. All right, so I don't have to thread that. I'm going to use my wrench over here real quick. Just make sure everything's lined up. All right, and then we'll go ahead and torque it. There we go. All right, real quick, I'm going to take air with a nozzle here. I'm just going to clean up the space a little bit, just to make sure we don't have too many contaminants in there. And then we're going to go ahead and put our serpentine belt right on. I like to do it before you put the mount in because it's a little easier to get your hands down in there and get things going. So we're going to do that.
One eternity later.
All right, guys, so we got the belt all fed in here already for you. It takes a little bit of time, so we don't want to waste a bunch of video time doing that. I'll throw a picture in here real quick to show you the exact way the diagram goes for this particular vehicle because it's a V6. So we'll throw that right in here for you. If you need to, pause it and you can look at that. Just make sure you get it right. Once you're ready, the easiest way I found is to leave the idler pulley here, not underneath this yet. And then I'm using a wrench because that serpentine bar doesn't quite, it hits the top up here, so I can't get it to go the whole way. So we're going to use this real quick, and then Caleb's going to help me just quick pop that down over that pulley. So we'll show you real quick what that looks like. And just like that. All right, so we went ahead and put the motor mount back in. These three bolts here, which are our 15 millimeters, we put those in first with the engine lifted up a little bit, torque those right up. Then we set this down so there's a little bit of weight on the chassis here. We put our 18 millimeter nuts back on here, torque those up. Once you have that all set, you're gonna go ahead and grab your airbox like so. And we're going to slide that down in there. Just make sure that little hose in the back comes up top so you don't bury that in the bottom. Slide this right in there. Line up the holes on the inside here. You got 2 little rubber boots, so make sure they line up with those holes down in there. And then give it a little push towards the front of the car. And then we'll push the boot on here. All right, and then we'll grab our 10mm bolt from earlier. Go ahead and slide that down in here. Takes a little bit to get that lined up. But once you get it lined up, it should go right in for you. So actually my problem is I gotta go forward more. There we go. All right. Tighten that right up. And then we'll grab the 5/16. Put that in right here. Just tighten that up. There, make sure it don't slide off. We'll grab that little hose on the back. Make sure you slide that in the side here. Just push it right in until it seats the whole way down. And then last but not least, we're gonna grab that mass airflow sensor. Just make sure your tab is pulled out before you put it on. You go on like this, push it right in, and then push the tab in once it's clicked in there. And you're all set.
All right, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you guys like that, please hit that like button and also consider subscribing. A big thanks to my brother for joining us here today and walking us through the steps on that. And if you guys want to see more like this, hit that notification bell. Have a good time.